Center. The Blockchain Center is a resource hub and an event space for blockchain talent, for blockchain companies, and we are focused on building up Miami. There are so many people involved in making this happen, especially you guys, but some of you guys might or might not know, but the city of Miami officially declared this week as Miami Blockchain Week. So, if you guys remember at the opening party, the city honored the opening of the Blockchain Center, but now they have declared this week Miami Blockchain Week. So I would love if you guys would stand up and just like take a photo op real fast with this. I want to let you know that this is not just the part of myself and Maria and Scott, but it's also all of you guys and these three guys up here. So I don't know about that, Mo. So there's a ton of events this week. It started off with Mo opening up the Bitcoin conference in 2012, but since then we have had so many different events. So for a full list of events, you guys go to blockchaincenter.com/blockchainweek and you can see what's going on, okay? Yeah, super cool. There's a lot of typos, sorry. Welcome to Miami. So, unfortunately, we had ordered some extra microphones for you guys, but they didn't come in the mail yet. So I am going to just pass it along. I've already prepared you with questions. So the topic of this panel is Miami's history and future as a tech hub. And the purpose is to show people that Miami is going to be the crypto capital of the Americas and that our business district, which is downtown Miami, is growing. So Miami is an ideal place for all these international companies to set as home base in the United States. So I think Maria had already introduced our people, but what I'm gonna start with is if you guys could please just introduce yourself and then provide a brief description of what you do.
Hello, everyone. Kevin Ruiz, Miami Downtown Development Authority. We are an independent agency of the City of Miami. We're funded through a special tax levy, and we're governed by a 15-member board, one from the state, county, and city. The other 12 are people that either live or do business within our district. Our district, it's not a hard rule, but essentially east of 95, Brickell, downtown, and parts of Edgewater. So our mission is to grow, strengthen, and promote the economic vitality of downtown in Miami. A little bit about myself. I'm a third-generation native of Miami. We do exist. Yeah! I went to the University of Florida for undergrad, and I got my MBA at UM, so I'm pretty much as local as you can get. And what's neat for me is given my background, I'm used to selling a product or a service, but in this role, I'm selling a city, I'm selling a place, I'm selling an idea, and that's really motivating and wonderful to do that every day.
Hello, my name is Mo, and I am the founder of the North American Bitcoin Conference. We bring people together in the community for the last 7 years, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Well done. Hi, I'm Andrew Bernard. I'm CEO, co-founder of BitStop. We put down the first Bitcoin ATM in Florida, in Miami, in 2015. Since then, we've grown to about 200 Bitcoin ATMs in about 10 different states. I am also co-founder of HODL Wallet, which is HODL Wallet. It's a simple Bitcoin wallet that we actually created for our customers. And last but not least, I also co-founded the Miami Bitcoin Hackathon in 2015. And we are actually having our 6th Bitcoin Hackathon this weekend. So if you're a developer or if you know developers, I'd really appreciate if you could spread the word. We want to get as many local developers as possible out to the hackathon to build some really cool and interesting apps. And this year, it's going to be not just Bitcoin BTC, but also BCH and BSV. So we're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're doing it for the first time ever at the Miami Blockchain Center. And I'd also like to thank Erica and Scott, Maria, everybody else with the Miami Bitcoin and Blockchain Center. They're doing a lot of great work, aggregating the interest and curating a lot of the talent in this in South Miami and South Florida. It's very, very important, and happy to be here and share my experience and knowledge with you guys and learn from you as well.
Thank you. So each of these guys are actually... Yeah, clap, give it up for them. So each of these guys are actually throwing or sponsoring an event this week. So Mo is throwing the main reason why everybody came to Miami this week, the North American Bitcoin Conference. Drew over here is sponsoring the hackathon. And during the hackathon, the Downtown Development Authority has sponsored a job fair. So if you guys are looking for tech talent or you are a tech talented person and you're looking for a company, please come here on Saturday from 11 to 6. So just to start off on the panel, many people in the United States don't understand the need for crypto because currency in the United States is relatively stable. However, in Latin America, there is a real use case for it. We see this in Venezuela, in Argentina, in Colombia. So with Miami being the door to Latin America, we are already the Silicon Valley of Latin America here in Miami. We have a real opportunity to make this the crypto capital of the Americas. So can you guys each answer why you chose Miami as your location of choice personally or for your business?
So it was pretty just simple for us. I'm from Miami. I was born and raised here. I'm another native. And I just wanted to see what it would be like to put down the first Bitcoin ATM. This is 2013. Like, probably most of you didn't even care about Bitcoin or even heard of it back then. I was kind of a hobbyist, and I just wanted to see what it would be like to bring the first one to Florida. We put it in Wynwood at this cafe, which no longer exists. But once we saw the demand, it was kind of eye-opening because I personally am not the demographic that would use a Bitcoin ATM. A lot of the people comes to Bitcoin. So I think that's going to be a hot spot, especially over the next few years, and I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I mean, for us, it was just default. We're from here. We're born and raised here. And, I'm glad that I'm building my business here. Plus, Florida's a zero state income tax, so it's not bad either.
Well, you can say it better. Like, if you look at the map and find an international city where people are working on innovative, interesting things, you've got immigrants that want to make a better life for themselves and their children and build a better future. There aren't that many cities that are both international and warm at the same time. They're either international and don't have a booming business, like a booming central business district, or they are international, have a central business district, or cold. So you got places like London, Toronto, Chicago, Boston. These are all places which are cold, international. But I don't have many places that are like Miami, where people are trying to keep building, have an amazing airport, international places as a hub for North and South America, and all over the world. It's just an easy place to get to. So when making the event here, we opened up Google Maps and wanted to say what makes the most sense for a place that has the most longevity and that people can understand what we're trying to do. And it's not that we take a position on currencies or what people are using here. There are plenty of companies that do that and do it very well, yours included. Just that Miami is a really good place in the winter, and it's international, and it's open for business. I don't know, one country says open for business. I don't know which one that is. It's Miami. Is Miami? That's the subtitle for Miami, open for business?
Is that our slogan?
I don't know. Let's ask Kevin.
One country is open for business.
I've heard of it before. I'm not sure which one it is.
So Erica, in regards to your question as to why this could be the crypto capital for LATAM, we have the second largest concentration of international banks, second only to New York City. That's something that a lot of people don't know. So you blend that with the fact that our technology hub is growing, and you're going to see a blend of finance and tech it's kind of natural to see how they would interact. You combine that with the fact that we have warm weather. To touch on your points, over half our population in Dade County is foreign-born, and then roughly 45% actually have a college degree. So that's second highest in the country, only behind San Jose. So we have a foreign-born population that's college-educated, that have money that they want to get out of their countries. It's just a recipe for success, and whether that be through traditional methods or new ones like cryptocurrency, we are definitely at a place to make it happen. And geographically, we're right there. It's easy for anyone to hop on a quick flight and reach Miami. Most people have second homes here, especially if you have money. And yeah, that's kind of a recipe for success.
There's not a lot of places like Miami.
Yeah, Miami's the best, obviously. And you know what I learned in Miami? That even though you might have like a stage and an audience and microphone, people in the back still love to talk. So, guys in the back, I know you. I see your faces all the time. I love you. But if you're going to talk, please step into a side room. We have private offices by the bathrooms. Come in the kitchen. There's a bunch of places you can speak. But let's honor the speakers, because I know you guys are going to be interested to hear the answer to this next question, which is just for Kevin from the Downtown Development Authority. So, Kevin, can you give us a brief history of Flagler Street, which is this street right out here, and an overview of what the city's efforts are to make this a tech hub?
All right, so I promise not to talk at length. There's a lot of history. But essentially, Dade County has 34 municipalities. The oldest one is the city of Miami, founded in 1896. The reason it was founded is because of a woman named Julia Tuttle. She had 460 acres in the downtown area, and for years tried to convince Henry Flagler to come here. It wasn't until the freeze of 1894 and 1895, where essentially the entire citrus industry was killed all the way as far south as West Palm, where she sent Henry Flagler some green leaves and some orange blossoms that were fresh, and he finally made the decision, I'm coming to Miami. So when he did that, 1896, it became incorporated. Flagler is the heart of downtown, named after Henry Flagler. And in terms of the renovation, it's expected to start shortly after the Super Bowl. It's a $24 million renovation where they are getting rid of the on-street parking, lifting the roads so it will become curbless. There's going to be very large pavers, and there's going to be mechanisms at the end of the street from Biscayne Boulevard to right by the courthouse, where wherever there's an event, they can put those down and it becomes a pedestrian walkway. And when that gets started, we hope that kind of jumpstarts the tech scene. A gentleman named Moishe Mana owns 50 plus properties, most of them along Flagler. And his vision, spearheaded by a division called Mana Tech, is that they try to replicate something called Station F, which is in Paris. And what's neat about that is it's not just technology companies, it's companies that are in various industries, because technology is touching everything we do today. And the idea behind that is basically you create an ecosystem where it's not so insular. You get people from all walks of life to kind of spur innovation. So that's the idea for Flagler, from Monotech, from the history. And in terms of why we think this is a good recipe for a tech ecosystem, we have the things that people want that work in the tech industry. So one of them is transportation. Got a long way to go, but we are the best in the state of Florida. We have Virgin Trains, which currently has 3 stops. They're adding another 4, which is Aventura, Boca, Port Miami, and Orlando. We have Tri-Rail, which is 19 stops, Metro Rail, 22 stops, Metro Mover, 20 stops, the Miami Trolley, which is the bus, 23 stops. We just had Revel Scooters, which is a sit-on scooter company, come to the city of Miami, 750 scooters. E-scooters, 3,000 that are currently being beta tested with nine different companies. We also have green space. So we have 30 acres at Ferrero Park, used to be called Museum Park. Bayfront Park has 32 acres. Baywalk, it's a really cool law or an ordinance in 1979 that said if you develop on the waterfront, you have to have 50 feet of setback with a 25-foot wide walkway. And the idea behind that was that they wanted to preserve the waterway for the public. It didn't want to just be for private entities. So there's only 2 parcels left that still haven't made it a fully connected 5-mile trail that goes all the way from Midtown all the way down to the Miami River. There's a lot of unifying factors going to that. We just installed 36 lights, LED lights in Bayfront Park, 10 in Parcel B that are LED controlled, so they can be turned any color for any holiday. And there's going to be a lot of unifying factors, such as signage, design, that are going to be coming the next couple years. The underline is a 10-mile linear park. First phase is done in June 2020. That's going to connect to the Ludlam Trail down south, which is a 6-mile linear park. So we have the green space, we have the transportation, we're going to have the tech ecosystem with Monotech, and you have a fully supportive government that is, especially with, I don't want to speak for the mayor's office, but everything he's done has been supportive. I mean, there's the proclamation. So we're very business friendly, and we're very excited to participate in this.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot already going on in no, you did good, Kevin. A lot already going on in Miami. If you guys don't know, Bayfront Park is 2 blocks that way, okay? This is where where's Katy, Kansas at? The Ultra happens every year, okay? Except for last year. And then Flagler Street, right behind us, $22 million approved. $24 million approved by both mayors for revamping. So if you guys are looking for a place in the United States, or if you already live here, Miami really is the next place to set up shop. So we've already talked about the history of Miami. Now I have a question for you two gentlemen. What is the history in the state of Florida when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? We definitely have a deep history in the state.
You better get into this.
All right, so I'll do the best I can here, and I apologize if I missed some major milestones and events from Florida's history. But when I first showed up to, I guess, my first Bitcoin meetup in 2013, it was kind of a small gathering at a virtual cafe in Coral Gables, and it was just basically a bunch of truth seekers and hardcore libertarians, and just kind of a little weird, not necessarily my crowd right off rip, but it was just very, very early, and what you would imagine is being the types of people that were hanging out, just kind of very, very weird people. But I think Florida really started to kind of gain notoriety in a more notorious way, I would say, than anything. We've had a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of different scams and entrepreneurs that maybe got ahead of themselves in Florida, in different parts of Florida. So, I mean, just do a Google search, Bitcoin Florida, and there'll be a ton of different results, I'm sure, with different things coming around. Anything from Cryptsy, I don't know if you remember Cryptsy back in the day, Mo, but, I mean, there's just, I can't even think of them all right now. There's a lot. And, ultimately, it's since grown out of that kind of Silk Road kind of weird days a little bit. Now you're starting to see kind of real investment kind of hit the scene. Real entrepreneurs that can deliver and execute kind of hit the scene. I'd like to see more of that, of course, but I think that, it's kind of like a little bit of a strange loop. Every time that there's a run-up, there's all these new people that kind of rush in. And Mo and I kind of saw this in 2017 with the ICO mania. Everybody was doing ICOs. And there's a couple good projects that came out of that, but the majority of them were just outright scams or just kind of questionable in terms of their intentions. So I'd say early days of Florida, we started in 2013 with the Silk Road kind of libertarian roots of Bitcoin. And then we went up to that first run up at $1,300. And then it brought a bunch of new people in it that eventually some of them stayed around, some of them left, and then the ICO brought in a bunch of new people. I mean, I remember 2017 was so ridiculous that everybody was calling me, I want to start a token. Lawyers were calling me, people were calling lawyers. I mean, we have probably one of the most litigious cities in the United States. Every other person here is a lawyer. So, and if there's any lawyers in the room, I'm sure that you guys had a bunch of phone calls for tokens and ICOs and, hey, can we do this and that? And I don't know, hopefully you guys didn't get too involved in that, but that was pretty crazy. So the last 2 years have been really quiet, I want to say. Besides the blockchain week that we do every year, Mo and myself, I'm seeing a lot of new faces now, which is really encouraging. And my thoughts, or I guess my suggestion to you would be start with Bitcoin. There's a lot of great coins out there and different projects to look at, and I don't have any gripes with any different projects, but start with Bitcoin and use that as kind of like a measuring stick to evaluate other projects against it. There's going to be a lot of people that will think that they're going to change the world and they're going to blockchain this and they're going to blockchain that. But believe it or not, like the average person is a lot more simple than that. Think of like a problem that you can solve. Like, don't try to, bring outright kind of like, a solution looking for a problem, or a problem looking for a solution rather. You want to try to solve real world problems, and I think that's kind of like my suggestion from an entrepreneur standpoint. And then, yeah, that's kind of the best I can do on that one, Erica. Here's Mo.
Really good. There's a lot of history here in Florida, you guys. Some of it, we touched upon, but also it was like the first transaction happened here. There was a really big case against the FinCEN that happened here as well, which kind of changed the way that we're allowed to trade Bitcoin on local Bitcoins. So considering in Miami, all the different industries that Miami is involved in, I mean, you guys could probably yell them out, right? It's like real estate, medical, hospitality. We have huge ports. Entertainment is big here with all of our big fancy clubs. And as Kevin said, international banking. Miami has the second most international banks in the United States, second only to New York. So what do you guys think is the first industry that's going to be disrupted by blockchain technology?
I'll just do this really quickly. You're already starting to see it happen. It's real estate. The WeWork security building, which is just down the street, traded for $65.5 million last year, and it was a cryptocurrency sale. So I think that's something that you're going to see more and more of. To touch on those industries, real estate, trade and logistics, tourism, and banking and finance are the four core that people think of traditionally. It's not a stretch to see any of those affected in some kind of capacity.
I don't think we're going to see wholesale disruption of anything. I mean, Bitcoin is a very good currency, and it's a good way to, as a new asset class, and people can use it like digital gold is a pretty good example of what it does and what it can do and what it will do and what it has been doing. I mean, it's good. Bitcoin is good, useful, international, all these things. And as it relates to industries that use money, it's a good alternative. It's volatile and has many faults, but it's a very good system. Blockchain technology, which it can affect, it's a very good software, and that'll replace a lot of things. As it relates to disruption, you see it everywhere, and the people building interesting companies are building them in the hottest industries. And it is sort of region-specific, who's building what where. In Miami, you have real estate and entertainment. You have medical, like you do, but medical is more in Middle America. There's a lot more companies there, and it's being revolutionized. And in provenance of food, and provenance is a very good example of an industry that can be affected by blockchain and Bitcoin technology because it is easy to use, it makes sense, and when you talk about high fee, low service industries, these are the most affected ones. And as it relates to some parts of Miami where there's crazy remittance charges and it's a super high fee for a very low service, that's the first to go. Across the board. When you pay too much for something and you don't get any service out of it, that's going to go. And then that's what we see.
Yeah, to add to the real estate, it's not my specialty, but this is like one of the real estate capitals of the world. So we're going to see a lot of I've seen a lot of tokenized real estate projects. But in terms of what I can speak to, I would say travel is going to be something that's definitely impacted. We just put a Bitcoin ATM at the Miami International Airport. A lot of our customers are using Bitcoin instead of cash to travel now. So we want to put our Bitcoin ATMs in areas of really, really high convenience. So, we started off in gas stations, et cetera, but now you'll see us in malls, and you'll see us in shopping centers, and you'll see us at the airport, et cetera. Hotels eventually. So I think that having a global currency in your pocket is just very convenient, especially if you're traveling a lot. And there's a lot of people traveling in Miami. We have one of the most busiest international airports in the world. So that's one thing I could speak to. And the other thing that Mo mentioned would be remittance. So our Bitcoin ATMs actually, a lot of people think that I'm going to create the next app to go ahead and disrupt Western Union, or I'm going to create the next app to go ahead and disrupt MoneyGram. Well, I hate to break it to a lot of you, but if you're working on a remittance solution, a lot of people are just outright using literally vanilla Bitcoin to do the remittance. So what I mean by that is that they're literally coming to our Bitcoin ATM, they're just buying the Bitcoin for cash, and then they're just sending the Bitcoin down to South America. And the reason why I think that a lot of people are doing that is because you kind of have this kind of reverse remittance going on. So what I mean by that is that in the United States, we have the most liquidity available to Bitcoin, meaning that we have exchanges, we have great infrastructure, we have great first world banking. It's actually the cheapest Bitcoin you can buy is here in the United States. You're going to get the best spot price possible here in the US, anywhere in the world. Outside the United States, in Latin America especially, some of these countries, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, Bitcoin is going for a very high premium at certain times. Some people pay anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 50% or more for Bitcoin in these countries. So if you're buying Bitcoin here, let's say at $100, whatever it is, even if you're paying 10, 15% from the Bitcoin ATM, you can send it down and flip it for maybe even double that. So the potential implications of that are pretty intense, and the big incumbents are noticing this. We've had Western Union, we've had MoneyGram go into our gas stations and threaten to revoke the agent's Western Union service if they don't kick our Bitcoin ATM out. It's definitely affecting their bottom line. So in terms of like remittance, I think that people are just outright literally using the Bitcoin, sending it down. They don't want to go through a third party. They don't want to be spied on. They don't want to have their transaction stopped in the middle of anything. They want to know that the person received it on the other end, and that can happen in a matter of seconds with Bitcoin. So those are the two things I can speak to, and we have a lot of remittance flows here in Miami. A lot of people here are also are second, third generation family members that they have family abroad. A lot of people are investing in real estate and businesses in Miami from South America. So definitely seeing a lot of this happen from my point of view, and it's very, very interesting, and it's growing very fast. So, yeah.
It begs something more. Money is bad. Money is very inefficient. I mean, it's just a very inefficient way to pay somebody for goods or services. If you've taken an Uber today, you've paid 3% commission to the credit card company that hit you, or you pay Uber for the services. You're paying across the board. Real estate is another one where you pay a ton of transfer tax, and when you send money around, it's inefficient. And Bitcoin will disrupt money, or money will become very efficient. One of those two will happen, and probably Bitcoin will become much more efficient, much faster.
So definitely money has evolved since the beginning of time, right? It hasn't always been this paper or these credit cards that we use today. And a lot of people in this room, including myself, think that Bitcoin is going to be the next step in this evolution. So I'm just going to ask our panelists 2 more questions. That way we can open it up, because I know I definitely want to save some time for the audience to ask questions. So let's keep it rolling, guys, okay? All right, so how have you guys seen the Bitcoin community? Because everything in crypto, because it is relatively small of the people that are knowledgeable about this, you guys are definitely ahead of the curve if you're in this room right now. Have you guys seen the community grow for Drew, since you first started putting ATMs in, Mo, since you first started the conference here, and for you, Kevin, since the DDA? So how have you seen the Bitcoin community grow? I'll start.
I've seen it. I haven't been too involved in the community side of Bitcoin meetups and stuff in the last 2 or 3 years. We've just been focused on building. I've been very busy. But just to give you a comparison, a Bitcoin meetup like this in 2015, 2014 was like 5, 7 people. So look around. It's obviously a lot more. I'd say that the growth is much healthier in this city. I'd like to see more projects come to Miami. You know, we're not like a Silicon Valley hotbed with a lot of VCs that are ready to throw money at just pure tech plays. They're ready to throw money at real estate, at medical. They're ready to throw money at hospitality startups, which is definitely cool also. But I'd like to see more investment from universities, from venture capital, angel investor networks, and also from rich Bitcoiners who made decisions early on to invest in cryptocurrency and did very well for themselves. Hopefully a lot more of them will move to Miami, take advantage of the of state income tax and so forth. But we'll see. We're fighting with Puerto Rico right now on that. So.
Puerto
Yeah, Puerto Rico's tricky when it comes to Bitcoin and dodging tax. Miami's evolved a lot, and Miami's been very good in that it has been one of the few places that, despite a couple of criminal cases, has always been open and encouraging to startups. This mayor is super open, and this is great. It's fantastic.
Wow.
It's like another vote of confidence that we're on the right path. The people are hanging out here. It's been an encouraging and open space, and people are aware of the risks and opportunities of crypto, and they're becoming more educated with events like this of what the risks and opportunities are. But you also have this huge push from things like the DDA and the mayor's office, where they're trying to encourage people to be involved in tech as it relates to Bitcoin, be involved and join the community. And that's promising. And that wasn't here before, and that is the reason why there's been continued success here and less continued success in other cities.
All right, thank you for that. Being sensitive on time, I'll keep my answer short. To your point, I'm here. And I think on top of that, we're sponsoring an event this week with Blockchain Center with an emphasis on the career fair and job placement. And there's events like these. These did not exist 5 years ago. And that's a very small time frame for something to go from 0 to where it is today. So you just take the multiplier effect, you go another 5 years, and hopefully it expands just as quickly. You know, not to be overly optimistic, but in terms of technology, we're all focusing on it, not just, you know, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And we really think this can become a hub for technology as a whole, and the entire umbrella for which that contains, you know, biotech, health tech, cryptocurrency, physical. I don't know about that, but you know, we have 5G poles going in across the city. We want to be a connected city. We're doing everything we can, because if you invest in today, you invest in tomorrow.
Awesome, you guys. Well, give it up for our panelists. Now, I know some of you have some questions. I'll start here because you raised your hand first.
Hi, I'm Omar. I'm a local triathlete and crypto enthusiast. I have one question, but it's a good one. I think that 99% of making money in crypto is timing, right? Like, if you think of the internet, if you were to invest in the mid-90s, just about anything you put money into would have gone up. So where in the crypto cycle, in terms of internet years, do you think we are? Is it 96 or?
Yell some answers out from the crowd, you guys. What year do you think we're in?
So that depends on what blockchain, what project you're looking at, right? So it's not just BTC or Bitcoin anymore. There's a bunch of projects out there. There's a lot of people trying a lot of different things. To answer your question in terms of timing, yes, when it comes to business, when it comes to entrepreneurship, everything is timing. However, there were certain points of the internet where you had these certain waves of like successful companies. You had the late 90s of the dot-com boom. And then 2005, you had Facebook and a bunch of social network boom. And then you have all these mobile apps like Uber. All these things came out of like the 2010, 2008 era. So you're going to see the same thing happen in Bitcoin. You have a bunch of the early founders and entrepreneurs that took like the biggest, greatest risk, starting exchanges, starting the roads, bridges, and tunnels, the basic infrastructure that's needed, similar to the internet, where we just needed, let's get some landlines, let's get the actual just infrastructure to run the internet. Then you actually will have companies build on top of that. So don't get disheartened, or don't worry if you're like, oh, I showed up too late, it's over. I felt like when I showed up in 2013, I felt like I was too late, like that. So every day I get more and more optimistic, because I'm seeing brand new projects, not just Bitcoin related, but I'm seeing other things. Bitcoin's forking. There's new innovation going on all the time. And if you look deeply at these projects, get involved in the forums, get involved in the communities of these projects, you're going to find some very, very, I mean, the smartest people I've ever seen in my life are on Twitter, you know, and yeah, Mo specifically. And yeah, so I would say timing is definitely everything, but there's waves to this. There's going to be layers happening, and try new things, solve real world problems, and yeah, I would say that like BTC, yeah, we're probably like 1999, but BSV, I think we're like all over like, 1995 again. It's like it's starting all over. It's like a strange loop.
Yeah, I think the days of the crazy get-rich-quick stuff is probably over. Do you say you're a local triathlete? So, I mean, you understand just as much as anybody else, if you find a niche and you work your ass off, something happens. And that's what's happening in this industry. People are finding their own niche, working their asses off for a couple years, and you got to be smart about it, and you talk to people here about your new idea. Everybody's open to hearing something. Everybody's open to helping you out. And they just work really hard for a long time, and something good happens. I don't think it's a numbered date. I think it's just to work hard and crowdsource advice to see what people think and to improve your ideas.
So he actually attended a class this weekend that we hold with the Blockchain Institute of Technology and blocksEDU, and you got a certification this weekend, right? Yeah, so he definitely is very knowledgeable right now. Ask him questions, guys. So any other questions? Okay.
This question's from Kevin. If you can tell us, what is your pitch for Miami companies that are thinking about setting up base in United States? 30 seconds or less.
You got an elevator pitch now, Kevin.
All right, well, I'll try to be concise. We have a tax advantage, so no income tax. Our corporate tax is 5.5%. It's very, very low, business friendly. You also have a daytime population in the city of Miami. It's 250,000. In 2018, we had 92,000 citizens in our urban core, expected to be 110 by 2021. That's a 20% increase. That's dramatic, and I think that's going to the story that we're telling, that people don't want to drive. They want to live, they want to work, they want to play in the same area. We have the restaurants, we have the infrastructure, we have the green space. Again, we have a talent advantage. There's over 250,000 people in our universities right now. That's not even including the technical schools. And there's definitely some debate as to whether or not they're in the right programs, but we're getting there with campuses like MDC, which has the Idea Center, and Magic. So yeah, that's 30 seconds. I could go on all night, but I promise I won't.
Move to Miami, guys. All right, anybody else have questions in the audience?
Going once.
Awesome, okay. No questions. So, as you guys know, we do love Miami. We love Flagler Street. We have 20% off at Lost Boy. Who's been to Lost Boy with us before? Yes, Lost Boy is right down the street. It's one of those hop-in places. So we want to invite you guys to stay here, mingle, come talk to our panelists today. They have a lot of knowledge, and definitely come enjoy the rest of the week. Afterwards, we're going to kick you out, and we're all going to go to Lost Boy if you guys would like. Sorry? Okay, yeah. Maria's reminding me. So if you guys are just, once again, this upcoming week is Miami Blockchain Week, officially declared by the city of Miami. There are so many different events going on. If you are looking to know what's going on, go to blockchaincenter.com/blockchainweek. So thank you so much, you guys, and please enjoy the rest of your food.